Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me in this video short where we are going to discuss the time complexity hierarchy and computational complexity classes. Right. Within this video short, we are going to introduce p-time algorithms, np-time algorithms, and exponential time algorithms and discuss the class hierarchy and how these classes, how these sets are related to each other. It's important to note before we dive in here that this is a very formal and a theoretical area of study in computer science, and it's usually posed and defined within the framework of formal languages. And this formalism gives us the ability to represent problem solution pairs in a very mathematical and formal sense. And so the idea here with respect to applications is that we want to be able to group problems and corresponding algorithmic solutions of similar complexity, difficulty, that is, runtimes, into the same classes or groups, and then place them in this hierarchy so we can identify which problems are more complicated, right? Which ones can be solved in a practical amount of time, which one cannot be solved in a practical amount of time. And so with that in mind, we have these three big classes within this theory. We have the set or class P, NP, and exponential. And so P is simply the set of all problem solution pairs such that that problem can be solved, or that is, the algorithmic solution can be executed in polynomial time. So polynomial time being linear time, quadratic time, right, and anything that can be solved faster. So anything that can be solved within a polynomial bound would exist in the time complexity class of P. So essentially the majority of the algorithms, like our sorting algorithms, our searching algorithms, fall into this set P. Right? Exponential time are algorithms that are very complicated, right, and need an extensive amount of runtime to be solved. That is, the algorithms will take an exponential amount of time to execute successfully. And generally speaking, algorithms that take an exponential amount of time will be considered intractable. That is, they can't be executed in a reasonable amount of time. Now, somewhere in between these two classes, between P and exponential time, is this theoretical class NP. And this is the set of all problems/solutions that have a polynomial time verifier. So what do we mean by that? We mean that if we presented with a potential solution to the problem, we could verify that it is a solution or not in polynomial time. So we don't necessarily know how long it takes to generate the time, which is why we can't necessarily say it's going to be a polynomial time algorithm or an exponential time algorithm, at least strictly speaking from an efficiency standpoint. But we know that there exists a polynomial time verifier. And so one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest open problems, I should say, in computer science is this P versus NP problem. Because we know that there is a subset relationship between P and NP, as you can see here with this diagram, right? That is, all of the algorithms that can be solved in P time have a polynomial time verifier, clearly. Right? And we know that, therefore, we have a subset relationship. That is, P is a subset of NP. Those algorithms exist, right? That can be solved in polynomial time, can also be verified in polynomial time. However, we don't know whether this is a strict subset relationship or not. That is, it has not been shown whether P equals NP or not. Right? We do know that there is a bound here, though, because we know that exponential time encapsulates both as well. Right? Again, we have the subset relationship between NP and exponential time, right? But we don't know whether that's strict or not as well. So this is a pretty big problem because there are many existing problems in computer science that fall into this NP set. And it is unknown whether we have polynomial time solutions to these problems. But it would be a really big deal if we could find polynomial time solutions to these complicated problems, because then we could, in theory, solve them in a practical amount of time, either via a reduction or just coming up with the algorithm directly to solve those problems. And so, again, this is considered, at least from a theoretical standpoint, a really big open problem, such that if we were to find a solution, such as a solution that P equals NP, this could be really big from an application standpoint because many of these problems, which we did not believe we had a polynomial time solution for, we might in fact have that. So again, theoretically speaking, this is a pretty big problem. And the solution could have huge ramifications in computer science. Along these lines, and another class of algorithms here that we can define in terms of NP are algorithms that are NP hard. Because we know, of course, all algorithms that fall within the set of NP, right, also encapsulate those that fall within P. But if we want to differentiate those that are the difficult ones, right, that fall outside of P, at least we think fall outside of P, or a better way to phrase that is are at least as hard as the hardest problems that exist within NP, are NP hard problems. So these are problems that are at least as hard as NP. All right, and those problems that are NP hard but also fall within the set of NP are called NP complete problems and algorithm pairs. One way to show that a problem is NP hard is to do a polynomial time reduction from an NP hard problem to that problem. Right? That is, we can just simply reduce A to B in polynomial time, thus showing that B is going to be at least as difficult as A. All right. Thank you for joining me in this video short. I encourage you to step through this PowerPoint slide deck, which introduces a number of classic CS problems that are NP hard, and also relate them to some interesting graph-based algorithms and graph-based problems. Well, thank you again for joining me in this video short, and I'll see you in the next episode.